This one, I wanted to go back in time on this one. This was from the year 2018, and I just wanted to go back in time because I wanted to demonstrate the decisions that we sometimes make that affects our lives and how we could have done things differently. But in this situation, there's a Michigan man, and his name is Craig Ziegler. He was 53 years old at the time, and he shot at a 14-year-old boy. I think his name was Brennan Walker, and he shot a 14-year-old boy who had come to his front step, front to his front porch, knocked on the door, and merely he was looking for directions because he was lost. He had missed his bus. He was trying to get home from school. He had missed his bus. His wife came to the door. She saw him. She started screaming erratically. He comes downstairs. Now, once she started screaming, the boy um, became alert. He started to run away because the husband came down with a shotgun. He saw the husband through the door. He came down with a shotgun. So the boy ran away. And this man came on the porch, and Ziegler came on the porch and then fired off a round at this boy that was running. And this was all on his security camera. So, and I was thinking to myself when I first saw this story a couple of years ago, and I'll show you the video, and I'll get to what happened at the end. But I saw this story a couple of years ago, and I was just thinking, like the decisions that we make, as I'm thinking about right now. First of all, this boy's lost. He comes to the door. This lady comes to the door. She sees him, and she starts screaming. So that's a decision. Why is she screaming? What happened that she's screaming? What did he do? What did he do out of the ordinary except come to the door? So why is she screaming? What story is she telling herself that it's okay to scream, that she's in some sort of danger, something's going on? What is the story? When she sees this young man who's 14 years old, what is the story that she told herself that she says, I have to scream right now? Even though he's just standing here, he just knocked on my door, I have to scream right now. What's the story I tell myself? So that was a choice. She screamed. I see if you saw a spider, if you saw a rat, yeah, I see a scream there. If this person broke in the house, you saw the person had a weapon, something was going on, I see screams. You got to scream to bring attention to a situation so somebody could come help you. But in this situation, she's just standing there. She screamed. But unfortunately, she alerted her husband, her protector, who's upstairs. So he comes down. He's upset. He hears her screaming, so he comes down, and but he grabs his shotgun. Has a weapon. He grabs the shotgun. He's going to come to her defense. He doesn't know what's going on, but he's going to come to her defense. So he comes to her defense, and he sees this young man outside, it appears. He sees this young man outside. Well, this young man starts running. Once the young man saw him through the screen, he started running. But this guy, at this point, he could have stopped, assessed the situation. The boy's running away. He could have seen that, okay, the screen's closed, no one got in, my wife looks okay. And he could even question her, like, what is going on here? What's the scream? He has the gun in hand. He could have stopped right there, but he didn't. He made a choice. He told himself a story. I don't know what the story is. And I guess I'll ask the question, what story did he tell himself after he assessed the situation? Screen is closed, wife is okay, boy is running away. So what story did he tell himself that says, you know what, I got to go outside? He gave himself permission. He's handled a gun. He knows what to do with a gun. He probably knows about safety, use of a gun, or why use a gun. I've said this before, so I go further. A gun's used for protection. Hunting and protection. So, for the most part, right? So you got to keep that in mind. When you have a gun, it's for protection. He came downstairs, wife is okay. Door is closed, right? He has the gun in hand. You assess the situation. I would think you see there's no reason for protection here. Okay, no reason. But He stepped outside that door, gun in hand. Okay? Stepped outside the door, gun in hand. He assessed the situation. The boy is running away, hauling ass, running away. Okay? Gun is in hand. Boy's intimidated. Okay? Everything's fine. Wife's okay. Right? He could stop right here even. He doesn't need to step on the porch with the gun, but he did. He could stop right here, but he didn't. He made a decision. He told himself a story that gave him a reason, an excuse to raise his gun up and aim it, right? He aimed it. Still hadn't fired the shot yet, but he aimed it. And the boy is still running away, looking over his shoulder, running away, right? And he could have stopped right there too, but he didn't stop there. He didn't stop there. He decided, and whatever story he told himself, whatever that story is, he decided to pull the trigger. So he pulled the trigger and fired off a round, right? Now the round missed the kid, went into the neighborhood. That's a danger in itself. But he made that choice. He made that choice. And then he stepped a little further. You'll see the video. I'll show it to you in a second. He stepped a little further onto the porch and he stood there. I think he only fired one round. But he aimed it. And he fired. Now, did he try to shoot the kid? I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. But he still fired that gun. He still fired that gun. He could have hit that kid. He could have hit somebody in the neighborhood. I think probably if he wanted to shoot the kid, he probably could have. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he was doing. And even so, what story did he tell himself to fire the gun? Because his wife's fine. Nothing happened. There shouldn't be any real emotion there. But I guess, when the wife's screaming, that could create some emotion. So what was he doing? Well, what story did he tell himself? Was he telling himself, I'm the hero here, I'm the protector? Did he tell himself that it's okay after he sees this kid, I'm going to scare this kid to death by firing a round? And if that's the case, why did I tell myself to do that? I don't know what it is, but he told himself a story. But anyway, police is called, of course. They come down, and he's arrested. They question him. And I don't think when the police were questioned that they were buying his story, because in court, a police officer said, just tell us the truth. You were intending to shoot that kid. And from the police officer's testimony, the guy shrugged and said that, I'm just sick of, been robbed 5 or 6 times, and I'm just sick of it. I'm not going to pull up with it anymore. Almost like he thinks he's some sort of hero. But anyway, it goes to trial. And I think when it goes to trial, he could have possibly been facing life in prison. So this guy is a retired fire person. And I'm just guessing he lived a decent life. He's married. I don't know if he has kids or not. He's got a home. So he's retired. He was with the fire department for 20-something years. I don't know what the number is. So I'm just guessing he has a decent life. So that being the case, you have this decent life. Why would he make this decision to go against his life? His wife is fine, but he's making this choice with this gun on the porch and firing at this person. Now everything is at stake here. Gonna lose everything. The house, the wife, freedom, everything over this one moment, this one choice that he made. So again, I say, and I keep repeating myself, I know, but I'm just saying, we tell ourselves these stories, giving ourselves permission to do these things. And we got to think this thing through, the stories that we tell ourselves, so we don't make these kind of decisions. He thought it was okay to come outside, barrel-chested, and shoot at this kid. He didn't know it was a kid, I guess, but shoot it. It's a big kid, but shoot at this kid. Somehow he thought it was okay. But as now it starts unraveling, he gets arrested. He could possibly face time. He's going to go to court. Now I think he realized it's not okay. He's telling himself a different story now. It's not okay. And in court, just from the clips that I've seen, he seems a little bit more humble and apologetic for his actions. But it's too late. He can't take it back. He already did it. He already grabbed the gun. He took it outside. He aimed it and he fired a shot. He already did it. He can't undo it. But he said he wished he could take it back, but he can't. So trial went on. The jury or the judge sentenced him, not life in prison, 4 to 10 years in prison. That was in 2018. This person's in his 50s. He's retired. He wants to spend time with his family, I'm sure his wife. Has a home, all that. And because of this choice that he made, because of the story that he told him that it was okay to do all these steps, he got himself sentenced to 4 to 10 years. And he's lucky that's all he got, but that's still a lot of time. A lot of time to sit in a prison. He's probably never been to jail in his life. But I did hear there was an incident a few years ago in 2006 where something to do with a weapon also. I don't know the full story on that, but something to do with a weapon also. We got to keep in mind, like I said, these weapons are for protection. For protection. Chasing somebody on a porch, firing into a street, that's not protection. I heard a detective say that's not protection. And the same with the wife. She made a choice also. She got her husband all riled up. She didn't see a spider. She didn't see a rat. Kid wasn't breaking in the house. He wasn't in the house. She wasn't struggling. Nothing was happening. The kid showed up and she overreacted with the screaming and the yelling, which got her husband to overreact. And then now he is in jail 4 to 10 years. I don't know when he's going to get out. So that's my whole point of this video. I'll show you the part of the video here.
The video shows 14-year-old Brennan Walker approaching a stranger's house in Rochester Hills, Michigan last April.
I knocked on the lady's door. Then she started yelling at me. And she was like, "Why are you trying to break into my house?" And I was trying to explain to her that I was trying to get directions to Rochester High.
He had overslept, missed the school bus, and got lost walking to class. He hoped homeowner Dana Ziegler might point him in the right direction. Why he sprints away becomes clear in the next frames. That's 53-year-old Jeffrey Ziegler toting a 12-gauge shotgun, aiming and firing at the fleeing teenager. The shot missed him.
He grabbed the gun, and I saw it, and then I started to run. And then that's when I heard the gunshot.
Dana Ziegler called 911.
I was screaming as loud as I possibly could. He didn't look like a child. He was a rather big man standing there. And also, if he was going to school, we have no schools in our area.
The teen's mother said race must have played a role.
Watching the tape, you could hear the wife say, "Why did these people choose my house? Who are these people?" And that set me off.
Police Detective Sean Pace recalled what he told Ziegler during his interrogation and Ziegler's response.
Just admit that you aimed your weapon at this young man, and he took a big drink of water. He looked at me and he says, "I'm tired of being a victim."
Ziegler, who said his house had had 5 previous break-ins, was questioned by his attorney in court on Thursday.
You understand you did something wrong?
Yeah, absolutely.
And on Friday, the jury agreed, finding Ziegler guilty of assault. He'll be sentenced next month.
So that was it on that. Just that happened a few years ago, but I was just thinking about it. I just wanted to bring it up again. It's just about the choices that we make, and we think things are a certain way because we tell ourselves these stories and we convince ourselves, and then we do these actions, And and these actions, not only they hurt others, but they hurt yourself. He could have killed that kid. And not to mention the terror and how that affects the kid emotionally, even though the interview seemed like the kid is doing just fine, the mother's just fine. But it just, his actions could hurt somebody psychologically, could have killed somebody. It could have been so much worse, these choices. So that's just a reminder that we gotta think about the stories we tell ourselves to take these kind of choices that go against others, ourselves and others. So that's all I have, everyone. Peace and hope.